Hey, everybody, welcome for Whom the Bell Tolls. Apparently, tonight it's tolling for me. Normally I come into these streams and I've got a whole laundry list of questions for my guests, but I think, probably a therapist would be better off, asking me the questions tonight. But instead, I've got, somebody here to start us off with right away that, if you can't afford a real therapist, certainly Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads might be able to help. Andrew, thank you for joining me. How are you tonight, my man?
I'm doing good. I don't know if I'll take the place of a therapist. I'll give you book recommendations that will keep you busy long enough until the therapist can get to you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm going to say hi to some people who are in the comments real quick so I don't forget, because there might be a few other people joining us tonight, and I am very likely to get lost in the comments. So first off, Aaron, hot diggity dog, can't wait. Happy birthday. Thank you, Aaron, one of our awesome patrons. Another awesome patron, Slay, not here. Oh, yeah. Well, you guys, he is in the Middle East. He is very far away. So, Slay, thank you so much. You are super kind. John, I don't understand this when I wrote, whoops, hit the wrong button. There we go. Redacted jokes about your picture in the thumbnail. Trying to be nice here. I don't know what you mean. I hope you're joking. I'm guessing you're joking, but let me know in the comments, because I looked for like repressed comments and I did not see anything repressed. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of comments. Okay, bear with me.
Everyone would wish you a happy birthday.
Well, you guys are way cool. Darko, happy birthday to BookTube's rookie opinion. That it was a light year for BookTube, if that's the case. But I think there's probably other more deserving people. But thank you, Darko. Darko, another invited guest tonight, unfortunately had a commitment. Dr. Watt, thank you. I love your name. Terry, thank you so much. I've got the TARDIS as my bookmark, and I've got the TARDIS on my phone. So I know you've got TARDIS stuff all over the place too, don't you? There you go.
This is a 3D printed like benchmark thing that
Excellent.
my buddy just printed for me. And then I've got a floating TARDIS over here. I've got Doctor Who stuff all over my darn house. Oh, I've got it right here. Here's my fourth Doctor Funko Pop. Daniel Green loves Funko Pops.
Very, very cool. I actually got to meet one of the doctors at one of the Comic Cons.
Same.
I got to meet Peter Capaldi, which
nice.
The dude is as awesome as you think he would be. When I met him, it was like we had been friends for 30 years. It was just, he's like, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. And I'm like, me? It's not great to see me. It's great to see you. Britton, thank you.
I met Sylvester McCoy.
Did you really? Very cool.
I did. That we've got, so in Indiana, they have the Doctor Who warehouse, where basically in like Canby, Indiana, which is like 40 minutes from me, they've got this warehouse where they've got this like mini museum, but it's just straight Doctor Who merchandise.
Cool.
And it's a dedicated store. So they set up events. So the doctors actually flow through Indiana rather often.
Wow. All right. Well, if we see you on an episode, and folks, wouldn't Andrew be like the greatest companion ever? How fast would your ass hightail it out of there at the first sign of trouble?
Oh, I'm gone.
Yeah, you're banging away on the buttons of the TARDIS. You're leaving the doctor wherever.
Like outline, dust. I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much,
sir. And I'm back in the TARDIS. I've locked the door. I'm not coming back out.
No, it's coming. Kellen, thank you so much. Capricious Fox, thank you. Channel member, channel follower, love Capricious Fox, very cool. One of my buddies all the way. Oh my gosh, you're staying up late, Stepan. You rock. If you guys haven't checked out his novelette, Black Seeds, it's really good. All the way from Croatia, Stepan, thank you so much. And wow, very cool. Happy birthday to BookTube's new celebrity. The host of the most keeps crushing it. Now, if that wasn't like the nicest, thing anybody could say, folks, that's my sister. So thank you, Nikki. That's very cool.
Biased.
I know, right? It probably took me this old in life, for her to like, no, she's kidding. I'm kidding. She's like the greatest sister ever. All right. What do we got here? We've got, Andrew, another BellTube community member. We're live. Thank you so much, my friend. And I just want to catch everybody if I can. Elaine, another community member, thank you so much. And Aaron, we got Aaron. Heidi is watching hockey. The puck has not dropped yet. Did I get your burning questions? I did get some of your burning questions. And you may have to catch some of the answers on replay, but I will answer the first one. You had asked about my favorite rock bands or musicians because Rick Thunder had Duran Duran in the video. You wanted to know what I was at. And you mentioned Elton John. So here's the deal. Elton John, for me, is at the top. And then everybody else, kind of comes, yeah, right there. I'm going to send a chiropractor for you. Okay. So it's Elton and then everybody else. But in terms of bands that I gravitate a lot, wide mix. Everything from the Grateful Dead to Motorhead to Judas Priest to Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Billy Joel, ELO, Heart, Fleetwood Mac, ZZ Top, Steely Dan, the Eagles. Basically, if it was recorded after 1979, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. If it was recorded before 79, I'm your guy that you want to call on the phone a friend game. All right, what do we got here?
You're not into Boston?
I like Boston. I suppose that's 80s. Yeah, that's a little bit 80s too. You're right. What's interesting? Yeah, Boston is really cool. I was thinking about Journey.
My dad raised me on Boston and Cher and Prince and Michael Jackson and AC/DC and Bruce Springsteen and
for sure Prince because I knew him, so that counts too. What do we got? Well, he came to the club. It's not like we were besties, but he really liked the nightclub, and he had his own booth in our nightclub called Prince's Booth. So, just by default, I got to know him relatively okay. Happy birthday. I have to go cut grass, DK. Awesome.
Was it Prince's Booth or the artist formerly known as Prince's Booth?
Both. It was both, but we never changed it. It was really funny. And it was funny, too, because we would have it on the website and people could book the booth, right? So if they wanted to sit in this particular VIP section called Prince's Booth, they could do that with the caveat, and everybody agreed to this, was if he shows up, we will return your money, but you got to get up and get out of the booth because it's his booth, brother or sister. What do we got? Daniel, thank you. Awesomely well-read gentleman there, Heidi. Is Andrew okay with having another female Doctor Who in the future?
That's a good question. The answer is yes. I thought Jodie made a good Doctor. She had terrible scripts and she had a terrible showrunner. I thought, like, her very last adventure, you saw what could have been.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And the same kind of goes with the second and third season for me of the Capaldi years, because the writing was atrocious. If he was given the same writing that David Tennant got or Matt Smith got, I think a lot of people would have liked him better.
Matt Smith was a little rough as well.
Yeah, that's where it started to go, probably a little bit. Griffin, I heard someone's birthday, happy, and all that. Thank you, sir. Rush, Pink Floyd, of course, Rush, of course, Pink Floyd. Two of my favorite bands all time. Grifton, thank you. Very cool. Excellent. I will buy myself a piece of birthday cake with that. Appreciate that. Bex, I met Prince twice. They were both religious experiences. Super cool, Bex. Where'd you meet him? Let me know in the comments here. In the chat. Yay, I'm a Deadhead too. Make sure to check out Fish's Farmhouse, one of my favorite albums, closest to the Dead. Yeah, I like Fish too. But it's just the minute Jerry went away, it just the Grateful Dead just for me I don't know, it's not the same. Okay, what do we got here? I've read the first two Dark Tower books. My first ever King reads. Do I do The Stand next? Andrew, do you want to field that question?
Oh no, I'm gonna say explore some of his other stuff because the Dark Tower is an amalgamation. Now, if you're wanting to keep it to Dark Tower, you could do Salem's Lot or The Stand, but like I like to recommend Needful Things. I like to recommend The Green Mile. I like to recommend 11/22/63. He's got a lot of great books in his bibliography. A lot of it's tied to the Dark Tower, but if you're just wanting to do like a Dark Tower read and you're wanting to keep it within the along the beam, so to speak, then you're probably looking to do either The Stand or Salem's Lot next.
Excellent answer. We're going with that one. Ooh, I like this real quick. Daniel, I saw Ray Charles play before he died. Now that would be something. That's one of those artists that I never saw live. I wish I could. My sister says, you can all rest easy that the Bee Gees were blasting from my bedroom. Of course they were. Funky Mirage was born somewhere, folks.
My claim to fame with a celebrity is I got to meet Ron Glass from Firefly, Shepherd Book, before he died.
Yeah.
And he told me he was going to save a spot for me in the special hell.
There you go. I like that.
I met him at a con, so that was very cool.
Oh my gosh. So John says one bookshelf is tilted to the side. One looks like it wants to fall over. I don't know which one, mine or Andrew's. I don't know, but that would be great for views, I think, if like BookTuber, what a great video. BookTuber gets crushed by his own.
Watch me pull it over.
Right, by his own bookshelves. And then whichever one of us doesn't die, then we can make a video that says BookTuber reacts to fellow BookTuber being crushed by his own bookshelf.
I would die. Right?
Yeah.
And this is 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves fully loaded. Well, there's 2 shelves empty at the bottom, but.
Yeah, I got you there. Mac. Oh, by the way, thank you, Mac, for staying up late for this tonight, too. Duke Ellington in 1970. And Beck saw Prince at First Avenue. Now, that is really his home base. That's where the movie Purple Rain was actually filmed, at First Avenue. Now, that club was about a block and a half from my old bar, so I'm intimately familiar. It looks like we have another guest in the waiting room, and I am kind of 50-50 if we should let him in or not.
Is it John?
I don't know. It's really weird because I normally have somebody carting at the door, and I don't know if this guy is old enough, but let's let him in. Let's see if we can get him in.
Okay. He's Jacob's here to say happy birthday, Brian, and
happy birthday, Brian.
I'm in my Brian
Jacob.
costume.
You know what? I love it. Thank you for joining us, both of you guys. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm even more happy that Andrew was correct that the dynamic guesting thing works when you click people in, they actually show up on screen.
Yeah.
So, however, the bell tolls is going across our faces.
Yeah, I can get rid of that. Hang on, let me get rid of that. Let me.
Can you?
Do. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if I get the comments back up, we're good. Good. Excellent.
I just love Andrew knew it was me. He could just feel it.
He knew the energy. He did. I'm going to say, John, you clean up really well. I mean, where were you for my bar mitzvah? You look great.
I was actually there, doing the. That's how much older I am than you.
Wow, I love it. Now it looks like we have
football style when you came out of your mother.
We have another guest in the waiting room. Now, if any of you have ever been in a doctor's office before and had to wait way too long to be seen by the doctor, here's our revenge, because now we can just make the doctor wait. No, I don't think so. Let's add him to the stage. Look who's here, everybody.
I'm 2 for 2 on guessing.
Okay.
Nice. Nice. Happy 29th, Brian.
Thank you, Philip. Happy 30th to you coming up. You're just, right on the cusp of where I'm at. Right. Thank you for joining me as well. And it looks like somebody else just popped in, so we need to add him. And I'm going to try to do this all the way.
It's like a party.
It is a party. All the way from the West Coast, Mr. Christopher Navo has joined us.
Right.
All the way to Seattle.
Brian, 6 months, man. I feel like it's been years.
Isn't that crazy? It's like I have graded on you for 6 months, and it feels like 16 years. That's the other part of this celebration tonight, you guys. Is not actually just my birthday. It's exactly the 6-month anniversary of my first upload to YouTube. So I didn't realize it at the time that on November 7th was the first actual upload. So I thought, okay, this is a great, perfect coincidence. Let's do a 6-month stream. And these guys are awesome to join me. I just want to quickly, Stepan is complimenting your tie, John,
Yeah.
as I
Sharp.
did.
Look sharp.
Yeah, what's that about, John?
And
I mean, I'm wearing Sanderson.
It's I like it. This is my Brian costume.
I love it. I mean, it is fantastic. Mac is all the way from Europe. So, you guys, thank you for joining me on my birthday. This is really strange. Oh, there we go. All right, we got the wizard hat going.
Wizard hat. All right.
I was really tempted to rock a hat too, but I couldn't figure out how to do it right with the headphones. So I decided, okay, we'll save the hat for another time. But thank you guys for doing this, because for so many years, the birthday was like just basically an excuse to throw a nightclub party, to generate, a new event. This is like exactly who I want to be spending my time with on my actual birthday. Not randoms coming in off the street, into a nightclub, but truly people that I have such deep common interests with. And the fact that I have only known you guys, in a true sense of actually talking for 6 months, maybe Christopher a little bit longer than that, from the readathon. But you guys are very near dear to my heart. So thank you so much for being here. Philip, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't because my screen is small. But in the new videos, because the background is slightly blurred a little bit because of the new angle, there's some new warm little candle lights next to Return to Eden.
Oh, I see that.
So it should show up pretty nicely, I think, when I film on Thursday. So
Yeah.
we had to still highlight Return to Eden, folks.
Oh,
my
Now, is
gosh.
that real fire? Because my anxiety couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
No, but it would be my luck, like a battery sparks and the whole thing goes. I mean, if that were to happen again, please let it happen live so I've got great content. And, Booktuber accidentally burns down his books before the cases come crashing down on him.
Oh man, you'd go viral. You would go viral.
Right?
Yeah.
While 4 other booktubers react. So then we would get English professor reacts to booktuber burning. We get archaeologist, reacts to nightclub owner, decimated by his own shelves.
Like burning the Library of Alexandria all over again.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And one thing that I did want to, mention to everybody is that as far as like who I had, asked to join this particular stream, wasn't exactly sure how many I could get on here. And Tori has choir tonight, so she wasn't able to join us. And Mike is literally quadruple booked tonight between 2 other streams and his son's orchestra concert.
I do
So-
think
Fantastic time management skills
I
right there.
do think we call that pulling a Dr. Chase.
I like it. He's
true.
very he's
Philip's
very
on 6 different streams right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I'm
Right?
actually at Mike's son's concert too.
excellent. Oh my God, this is what we've not known all these. See, folks, come to BellTube. You're going to find out that the real Philip Chase is actually triplets. That's why. Now we understand why he speaks all these languages. He studied a couple, and it worked out. And it worked out that way. But so those guys had some commitments, and there was another few people that I was going to add on to this, but they are all upcoming guests on For Whom the Bell Tolls. And it's I want to save some of those questions for when I have them on for the full hour and a half. So that's, if you don't see some upcoming guests, that's kind of why. Anyway, but we do have to have her on. Thank you so much, Joanna. We have to do, what do you guys think, chat? You think Joanna needs to have the bell tolled on a live stream one of these nights?
Yes.
Definitely.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So, and it was interesting too, because when I thought about doing live streams, my first thought was, who the heck is even going to say yes? That'll even come on. I better not book more than, one every 3 months, because I don't know who will ever show up. But I've been really blessed that, people
Chris and I have been trying to fight it out for like 2 months now.
Yeah, we've been scheduling and yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. I still think John and Chris win the awards for superior booktube lighting. I mean, it's just what you guys have going on over there is
It's all Jake.
so. It's
Oh, I don't
That-
even, yeah, I just realized I don't even have mine on right now, but
I know, but still, it's like you've got this kind of fantastical element, like you're emerging from the books. I love it. So, Stepan, this is an interesting thing. I stopped playing Diablo 4 so I could bitch your birthday party. I just downloaded that off of Game Pass earlier today. So, I'm going to give that a try. If I've missed any comments, I super apologize. I will go back and take a look. One of my favorite individuals on all of the YouTubes,
Hey, Jared.
Dr. Jared Henderson.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Jared, thank you again for your message the other day. I absolutely appreciate it. I took it as it was intended and I learned a lot from it. And thank you. I'm incorporating exactly what you meant. So thank you. Little behind the scenes help. Where are we here? So she can sing. Okay, cool. So, wow. So, all right. This is sort of a BookTube channel. Somebody had asked in the comments if I bought any books for my birthday. And yes,
yeah.
I did buy. I had a few weird things happen. I'll share this in the book haul when I do it, but I woke up this morning and one of the BellTube community members sent me The Last War trilogy by Mike Shackle was at my door this morning, which is incredibly cool. Our good friend John over Talking Story sent me Patient Zero, so that is coming up on the TBR. I bought Tress and the Emerald Sea today because I haven't read it yet. And now I'm going to go completely mainstream YouTube, BookTube. I didn't think I'd ever do this, you guys. And I'm not really planning on making content around it. But if the channel views fall apart, if nobody tunes into BellTube ever again, I've got a secret weapon now.
Whoa!
I have
it
the
too,
secrets.
Brian.
I have the secret sauce just in case. There you go. So, it was really funny because, I watch Philip's videos and it was like, I love Philip's videos so much that as he's going through these, I legitimately didn't want to get left behind. And I watch everything, every person on the screen, you guys, I watch all of their videos every day they upload from start to finish, and so should you.
Oh, sorry.
Because they're great.
My face.
Oh my God, Andrews is the toughest to get through, no doubt. But
I mean, yeah, this is a lot to take in.
But he understands.
You need to set mine at like 2 speed because I'm like.
Oh no, absolutely
I'm not
not.
like Christopher Navo. You can't just look at this. You have to actually just listen.
Look, I mean, if you don't watch the whole thing to get to Christopher's blooper reel at the end, then I don't even know what you're doing.
Yes.
Because it's so good. But it started to drive me a little bit crazy because Philip's been putting out some One Piece content, and I don't want to miss Philip videos, but I also don't want to be spoiled on One Piece. So I decided, okay, I'm going to read this because at least that way I can watch his videos and get something from that. So that's the real reason why One Piece landed on my shelf today.
That is so very kind of you, and I'll be curious to find out what you make of One Piece. It's been a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to like it.
I've been for 20 years.
I read like the first few pages today. And I mean, yes, I did have Hebrew school flashbacks of having to read, from right to left, which was a little anxiety provoking, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think, John knows I'm a big comic guy. So I think something like this is going to, work pretty well for me. And I also like it that you can pick it up and read like 3 pages and put it down because, it can be literally while you're waiting for food to come out of the oven, just grab this book and, get through a little bit without having to get too ingrained, because the other book that I'm reading right now is Ashes of Man. And that's a little bit harder to pick up and read 2 paragraphs and put down. So,
yeah, I think all of us here have some comic book pedigree. Am I right? Yeah,
I think so.
Manga based, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I actually owned a comic shop. So.
I know you especially, John. Yeah.
But I'd never read manga until I read the first 3 volumes of One Piece.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's funny. I credit Philip also on starting manga. I started kind of watching the Vinland Saga with him and Murphy, and that Vinland Saga was my first bout.
Mine
I mean, I
doing
got
that.
this Doctor Who comic thing. Oh, it's dusty.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I'll be curious to see what you make of One Piece. It is unlike anything else I've ever read in my life. It is
Very cool.
It's been a lot of fun, and there's a lot of depth to it as well. There's just it has so much going on.
Is it it's ongoing, right? I mean, I looked at Oda's the author and the creators. I don't know if it was his bio or what, but he's relatively young guy, I think.
Well,
so
I think he's a little younger than we are, a little bit.
Oh, well, so he's got time. He can keep this. He can keep us entertained for a while.
It's in the last 4 to 5 years of its story run from the last update he gave, I believe. It's in the last arc, but the arcs can take years.
Sure. And you never know. I mean, he may get to, year 3, year 4 from now. People change over time. Maybe he decides there's more to do. Or if this particular story comes to a conclusion, maybe he does. Maybe he's got another story in mind. So I think it's pretty hard to turn off the creative energy, as a younger guy like that out of nowhere. But I don't know. Well, if we can ever get Oda-san on For Whom the Bell Tolls, that will be the first question that I ask.
That will get some views.
Well,
you would get so many views.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It wouldn't be unlike me to ask. Why not? I applied to be. By the way, so I just found out that Dragonsteel sold out before I could even get a ticket.
Okay, don't let's. Yep. All right, I'm still.
I didn't either. I didn't get mine.
I'm still shell shocked. I had to talk Jacob off a ledge. Literally, I've never seen that kid become so around the bend, come apart, undone as he was today. Refreshing that page 18,000 times.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even try.
I don't quote me on this, but I heard like last year they reopened up possible available tickets again later in the year. We didn't get ours either, and I have a hotel booked, so I'm like, what do I do? Do I attempt to wait until again, or do I just cancel the hotel?
I think you wait. Yeah. I mean, you can find out from the hotel what their cancellation policy is. Explain to them, exactly what the situation is, and say, I don't want to inconvenience you, but I think you're dealing with people in Salt Lake City, so you're not dealing with Manhattan or downtown Chicago, where you're going to get a more aggressive energy back at you. I think in Salt Lake they might be a little bit more forgiving about that. So thank you, Laura. There's another guest we need to have on For Whom the Bell Tolls. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And same with Evie too. I don't know if she's in the chat.
And so is Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
if you don't like certain series, Evie will come for you.
Yeah.
That's ominous.
I mean,
I have been told that my life is in danger. Okay.
What did you not like?
Realm of the Outerlings.
Oh, Andrew.
I don't know. I think Tori had a bit of an issue with Ship of Magic.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah. So anyway, God, I was trying to think of some. So I go on Dragonsteel sold out. So what do? I apply to be on a panel. So I don't know. What would they want me on a panel for, folks? I couldn't even tell you, but I wrote some kind of funny crap and I threw it in the stuff, and I said, "Put me on the panel." I've been reading fantasy for the better part of 40 years. I've got probably easily over 1,000 books under my belt at this point. So if you're doing anything on a seasoned reader, you want somebody who's kind of run the gamut of reading over the years. Everything that was written in the 70s and the 80s. I even threw in, I read the Worm Ouroboros. So
good for you. Wow.
That's what'll put you over the top.
That'll get you.
You should have applied to be a vendor to sell your merch there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's, hey,
Yeah, I was going to say, you have merch now.
We've got Here's Your Fortune, mugs, of course. And, one is going to my niece because she asked me to buy this one. This is the That's a Fact video, or coffee mug. And I can't think of anything better than waking up in the morning with Rick Thunder for your coffees. So Rick's right there. Yeah, I got merch.
Well,
Well, Brian, this I'm gonna say how badly you're gonna want to poach Jacob from me. That this is how much all of this is him. He actually did score us 2 tickets.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I mean,
That's awesome.
I think. Well, like I said, I don't think that the like Christopher said that the tickets are done, because last year and the year before the same thing happened.
Yeah,
and
they gotta have. Yeah, they'll come back around.
It's a bit of a racket to some degree, where oh my God, everything is sold out, but they know the demand is huge.
Christopher, you might want to sell your hotel room to John.
No, I've got one. I have one of those too.
It's right in the building, so I mean, it's right in the same convention area. So.
Yeah, so you'll everybody will get there. I have faith. We're all going to be at a bar late hours. It's going to happen. It's going to be Booktuber prom. It's going to happen. We're all going to be there.
Well,
I've said it.
You've got an amazing shirt and tie for Booktuber prom, that's for sure. I mean, you look fabulous. You absolutely do. One of the things that, besides Dragonsteel, that I'm actually interested in, and not more so, but maybe in a little bit of a different way, is DragonCon. Have any of you guys been to DragonCon before?
Going this year.
You are?
I would love to.
Going this year.
When is that?
That is in August.
Okay, and that's in Atlanta, right?
And it's still available. You can still get tickets. You can still. It's big. It's going to be bigger than Dragonsteel. So there's tickets still available. You can get a hotel.
I also want to go to Jordan Con, but that's because
Speaking of cons, Andrew, are you going to Gen Con? You talked about it.
I talked about it. I didn't secure tickets, but I could. I could do will call.
Yeah, because I'll be.
Why are you coming?
Yeah, I'm going to that too.
Oh, then yeah, I'll figure something out.
That's funny. I love Jared's comment too. They have bars in Salt Lake City. It's probably. And if not, hey, if I ever get back into the business, I can. I got a wide open market.
We'll make our own bar at the hotel.
There you go.
We will find a bar. It will happen.
I think DragonCon interests me because of the fact that it is a little bit more diverse. It's not entirely Sando focused, because I think that there's like gaming and there's, all the genres, show up at DragonCon from what I understand. But Christopher, you may see me there. I'm really, especially if for some odd reason my superior application to be a panelist at Dragonsteel flops. How could that ever happen?
Just use a backdoor contact Bookborn or Murphy.
I have a couple people who said they will let me know right when the tickets are available again.
Very cool.
Dragonsteel, if possible.
I do not know Murphy. I do not know Bookborn. I've communicated zero with either of them. So
just turn up to make it ready. Your Daniel Green, they'll let you in.
Right? Exactly. Hey,
part of his posse, yeah.
Hey, I'm Daniel. I was in Fugue for a little while, in space, and I'm actually aged, 25 years, but I'm back. So yeah, maybe if I show up as Rick Thunder, they just, celebrity, immediate badge.
Yep, a VIP badge.
I was going to say immediately. VIP carpet there.
No, not sure if they would let Rick Thunder into Salt Lake City. If they don't have bars, they may not have insurance for him. So very, very hard to say.
Is that our version of the Met Gala, kind of thing you show up in?
Yeah. I think so. Everybody just kind of comes in costume, something like that. That could be. What are you guys reading right now? Because I've lost a little bit of track, and I know that the people that are watching this and the people that are here on replay would really like to know, just because I happen to have you here, what you guys are reading.
I'm doing Defying Destiny, War of the Broken Mirrors by Andrew Rowe.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Andrew Rowe is an author who kind of has one foot in fantasy and one foot in lit RPG. And his books are fantastic. The Arcane Ascension series with its spin-off Weapons and Wielders. I'm not familiar with the one that you're reading now. What's it about?
It is a prequel to Weapons and Wielders. So you're still
Ooh.
following Karis, but it's back
Ooh.
before he assumes the Karis identity.
How did I not know this existed? When did this come out?
Like 2016, 2015, something like that. It's a whole trilogy.
Folks, there's been a series of hot tub related accidents.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible I read it. It's hard to say. John, what about you?
To start the month, I finished To Ride Hell's Chasm by Janny Wirtz.
Did you finish it?
I finished it. And today I finished The Fall by Ryan Cahill, so I'm ready to discuss things bound and broken with these two fine gentlemen on the panel in the two lower squares.
Yes. I hope you loved them both as much as I did. But I'm assuming you did, but I'm sure you'll have some content coming out about that. So, excellent. How about you, Philip?
I'm currently reading the book that broke the world. That's book 2, the Library Trilogy by Mark Lawrence. That's the sequel to the book that wouldn't burn. I'm about to finish it tomorrow, probably. Loving every word of it. I can't wait I'm going to review it. And after that, I'm going to read The Judging Eye by R. Scott Baker, which is the first part of the Aspect Emperor portion of the Second Apocalypse series. So that's following the initial trilogy, the Prince of Nothing trilogy. And then there's 4 more books. That's Aspect Emperor. So I'm going to start that, and I'll be chatting about that with Joanna. And then I'm going to start A Blood and Fire and The Fall, so I can chat with John and Christopher and Angela about that near the end. Actually, I think we decided the beginning of June to discuss.
Beginning of June, yeah.
Yep.
I am really excited for those conversations because I am a huge fan of The Bound and the Broken. And knowing what I know about the three of you, I don't think any of you three are going to not love it. Particularly as you get into some of the more recent entries. I mean, The Fall is great, and the first book is good too, but it really accelerates as you get into the second main novel. And I am all here for your conversations because you're 3 of my favorite people reading one of my favorite series. How can I, Andrew? Look at you.
Yeah,
You're
that's
looking
very
good.
vogue. That's very vogue, Andrew.
Oh my God, it is BookTube Met Gala.
It looks like the Sorting Hat is eating.
No, I'm just hiding my face because I hope you guys enjoy it.
Oh, I see what's happening.
It isn't like it. That's right. I forgot.
I talked to Ryan to his face.
I saw that. I was there for that.
I mean, but look, folks, Andrew has suspicious taste to begin with, right?
I mean, listen, I should not be trusted, okay? Like, I am a suspicious character with dubious morals.
Yeah. Okay, so Ryan agrees with you, Andrew. You have a fan in your camp, but what was this one? Are you all reading Tigana this year? Well, I know I've read it already, and I think Philip already has too, or no?
I've read it 30 years ago.
I'm reading this one this month.
I'll be reading it again soon.
That's so good.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, Stardust, Steve, Laura, so good.
So I missed that. Philip, did you say you're going to reread it?
I am going to reread Tigana because it was about 30 years ago when I last read it, and that's going to be my kickoff for an extended read of GGK books. So
Philip,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew DNF'd GGK at 4 years old, apparently.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cat in the Hat or Song for Our Bone. I don't know. He didn't know. I loved Tigana a ton. It's interesting because when I watch a lot of BookTube, all these GGK fans are telling me that it's like their 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th favorite GGK book, but it's the only one I've read. But I'm starting The Lions of Al Rasan in about a week, so maybe 10 days, something like that. So I'll have something to compare it to. What
couple of
about
us
you,
are reading that in
Christopher?
June. A couple of us
Hey,
are reading
Laura,
mine
I
in
did
June.
too.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, Laura. Well, Laura, there just wasn't enough spice in Tagana.
Yeah, I was gonna say, knowing Laura's taste now.
Yeah,
I've heard Lions is like Nico raved about Lions. He said it's his new favorite standalone, pretty much of all time.
awesome.
And he's read To Ride Hell's Chasm.
Interesting.
That's up there. That's up there for one of my favorite standalones now.
I got a new bestie. This was a
I am
worth
hurt,
mentioning.
Laura. Fine.
You know what,
Oh,
Jared?
Now,
this feels
now
like
Tori is my new
victory.
bestie.
Jared's right. I think there's a closet scene or something akin to a closet.
I hated
scene.
that closet scene so much.
Yeah. Jared is correct. Jared's memory is just insane. Between Jared and Philip's memory, I don't even know what to do. I can't remember what I had for lunch like literally 3 hours ago. It's amazing. Christopher, what did you say you were reading? Or maybe I didn't ask you. I think I got caught up in the spicy Tagana comments.
Oh, I am reading Die Young by Morgan Shank. He's an indie author. This book is going to be released May 30th. So just kind of reading it ahead of time, but prior to the release. I'm about 3/4 to that tonight because I usually read multiple things. I will be reading The Fall for Ryan Cahill, and then immediately after that, I will be reading my first Terry Pratchett book, Color of Magic.
Okay, so you were going on the Mike train and doing public
and
BellTube
was
the
my
publication
influence.
order.
Mike was my influence to start with Color of Magic. I was going to do Guards, but I went.
Guards is the correct way to do it. But
I now, so Philip did it the same way too, right? I mean, you did the Color of Magic and Light Fantastic.
I did. I didn't bounce off them quite as hard as you did, but I read them and I was like, huh, okay. I'm not really sure what all the hype is about. Then I read Guards, and I realized, oh, okay, now this I get.
That's like book 8, I think. In his publication order is Guards.
Yeah.
So it's
I also read the first Witch book, Equal Rights, which I loved as well.
Equal Rights is really good.
Yeah. I read Color of Magic first, like a few months back, and there's some great homages. There's some great twists to classic fantasy things that we've seen, the Wayward Barbarian stuff. But it was like overall, I was like, that's not how I thought I would feel about that book.
I guess I look at it as now things can get better as I read more.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think going into it, and this is like what I talked about with Mike last week, was that you have much lower expectations, I think, because you've been forewarned probably a million times not to start there. So the bar is pretty low for your expectations.
It is.
But
it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this before, but I only read Guards because I was in that readathon, and I had one of the prompts was you got to pick a book that's got a monster on it or some sort of a fantastical beast, and Guards has these little dragons on the cover. And so I rolled the dice going, all right, I never DNF books, yet this author I've DNF twice, let's just do it. And, in the words of John Minton, my hair was blown back. I absolutely loved that book. And then Men at Arms actually beat out Demon in White for my book of the month for March, which is insane.
That's just wrong.
That's big.
I
know. Yeah.
So, Brian, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
It sounds like my two collaborators here have started with The Fall, with the novella in The Bound and the Broken. Where do you stand on whether I should start with The Fall or should I start with The Blood and Fire, which is the first book? Now, I know that The Fall chronologically comes way before, but it was not published before, I believe, right?
Correct.
It's the original prologue. It's the original prologue that he broke off and expanded it.
Okay.
So what do I recommend? So
I haven't
I'll tell
started The Fall yet either, so maybe.
John, thank you so much for joining us tonight too. So, okay, I can tell you what I did. So I read the first book, and then I went back and read the fall, and it's boy, there's really there's solid reasons for either approach. I think I think that if I was to do it all over again, boy, probably, I think you would know a little bit more what's going on in the first book if you read the fall first. If you want to know that. If you want to go in sort of unawares and, essentially blind to everything, then I would do the first book first, and then you follow it right up with that the novella, and certain things get answered because you're going to have questions from book one that immediately will get answered. So I think it's kind of like, you want the some of the backstory first, or do you want to get your questions answered after? And I think either choices are valid. I know everybody's done them differently, and I've yet to hear anybody say, I wish I would have done it the other way.
Okay. Yeah, you can really do it either way.
But the main cast
really
of characters,
guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, right?
It really doesn't matter.
Look, having just read The Fall today, I would say read The Fall first, because it gives you such a great, quick, all adrenaline rush hit of the tone and what you're in store for, and it outlines the basis of the world. It just gives you some footing. It's like if you took Brandon Sanderson and said you had to run a cannonball run, but nothing but roid rage and jolt cola, this is what he would have written. It's that type of just nonstop go, go, go.
It's in media res. It just drops you right in and you go.
Okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
Yeah, that is the other thing is that the actual novel starts off much slower. The novella, you are, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. This is my executive answer now, because I hate being wishy-washy. So I'm going to give an answer. I'm going to say Philip should read The Fall first, because he likes getting dropped into the middle of the crazy. Yeah. He's such a Malazan fan. He likes Book of the New Sun. He likes just kind of drop me in the middle of it with very little explanation. I'll figure it as I go. So my executive answer is read The Fall first.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do, Brian. I'm committed.
All right, there you go.
I'll tell you what, guys. I will be the sacrificial lamb. I will read A Blood and Fire first for our group.
Perfect.
Okay, it's an experiment now.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, and then I'll read The Fall.
I'll be the controller.
I'll make sure I read The Fall like literally right after I Blood and Fire.
And Andrew will be
and Andrew will laugh
to tell you why you're all wrong and it's terrible
the whole time.
It's like, there's exactly. Chris, you're falling on your sword the Roman way. Well, if it's any consolation, Chris, I did it the exact same way you did it and found nothing wrong with it. But my recommendation to Philip is just knowing him as a reader, as short of a time as I've known Philip as a reader. Although that's not really true. I've been watching Philip's videos for 3.5, as long as he's been on BookTube.
You poor guy.
Right? My eyes are burning out. I mean, it's like, no, I mean, honestly, I have learned more from your 4 channels. I swear, it's nuts. You all do such unique things that nobody. I mean, I watch a ton of BookTube. You guys probably have it all over your YouTube feed too. When you turn on YouTube, you must see essentially all book channels because we subscribe to all the channels together. But legitimately, I learned something from every one of you guys. Across the board. So you've definitely influenced. And when people ask, what's the first 6 months been like? And, your channel growth has been pretty good, which I'm very appreciative, for everybody for. It's entirely because I've learned tons from you guys, and some of the other people that I've had the opportunity to talk to. So, absolutely.
Well,
I love it.
You're returning the favor, Brian.
So, absolutely. That's why I never miss a BellTube video.
No.
Nope.
I always cycle back, or I'll get to them eventually. I'm subscribed to 200 channels.
Yeah. I mean, there's that.
I'll get
there's
to it
that.
eventually.
There
Don't
is
rush
that,
me.
but there are people that I will like just get to right away.
Yeah.
By the way, my feed is actually half BookTube and half tennis highlights.
Excellent.
I get a lot of restoration stuff, like furniture restoration, because I love watching that stuff.
Really?
Oh, I love it.
What do you guys
I
have
have-
on your feed, really, besides the BookTube stuff?
I have books and chess and video game stuff. And what else do I get? I'd say mostly those three, video games and chess, pop up a ton because I watch a lot of chess, even though
I get a lot of watch videos too.
Really?
Oh, you're the watch. You guys are the watch guys. You and John, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andrew
I get a
more
lot of
than me.
whiskey stuff too.
Ooh, nice. Nice, Andrew.
What about you, John? What do you have in your feed?
You know what? If I turn on the computer, it's for BookTube. I'm not a big social media guy. It's pretty much all BookTube. I don't look anything else up unless I'm looking for a plumber or something, something like that. Yeah, I need somebody.
John's got a secret TikTok where he does all the dance trends.
No.
yes,
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it Broadway? Come on, John.
No.
We accept you.
No, I haven't. I love to go to a nice show on Broadway every now and again, but no.
that's awesome. Usman, thank you so much. There's another person we need to have the bell toll for. Yeah, I loved the conversations that you guys did, John, together on Brian Lee Durfee's trilogy. He's
Such
just a
great
smart
trilogy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. So philosophy, watches, and chess. Excellent.
Yes.
What is this about watches? Huh.
You don't
They're
wear
beautiful.
watches, Dr. Chase? You don't wear watches?
Precision instruments.
Yes.
History. Beautiful
Yeah.
mechanics and engineering.
Huh.
That's very cool.
It's not about
I will-
telling time. It's about having history on your wrist.
They
What
get
kind-
in the way when you're playing tennis.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't wear them when
So-
you play tennis.
So, Philip, do the tennis highlights that come up, are they like modern tennis or is it classic tennis?
It's actually a combination because I do like to watch some of the old school stuff too. I do like to watch the more serve and volley style, which they used to have. Really love that. But
Who is your favorite classic tennis player? Do you have one?
Ooh, I mean, my favorite tennis player of all time is probably Roger Federer.
Okay.
Classic, I probably would go with Stefan Edberg. I'd really love to watch him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar. I mean, I grew up watching John McEnroe scream at, referees and umpires, but
Yeah, he overlapped a fair amount with McEnroe. They would have played each other. Yeah.
excellent. Andrew's new channel is called Wristery. Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
There you
my
go.
wife would be so mad if I started a watch channel
Oh, yeah.
because that is you
That's
think
real money.
BookTube is expensive.
Well,
That's
as
real
long
money.
as you can return, as long as you return the watches you DNF'd, that would be all right.
I
Right.
mean, yeah, that could be good, but
No.
I like wristwatches a lot. I watch restoration, furniture restoration. I love watches. Always have.
I just remembered what's on my feed.
What's on your feed?
Spurs highlights. BookTube
Aha.
and Spurs highlights.
There it is.
Those are the
Wait.
two. Yeah.
We knew something. Heidi. Hi, Heidi. Is going your way tonight. Did I answer your movie question? Heidi had asked in the comments in the community tab what my favorite movie is. I don't know that I have an exact favorite
Come
movie.
on, Brian.
I mean, it just sort of depends on genre. Like
Yeah.
for
Do
total-
categories.
Just
for
name a
total
couple.
drama, The Godfather is really difficult to beat. For kind of a dramedy comedy, I'm a big fan. Oh, actually, John, you know this one because you commented on this. I'm a huge fan of Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks. So I don't know how many times I've seen that movie, a ton. I'm also a big fan of a classic comedy that the movie Clue was really kind of designed
Good movie.
around, and that's a movie called Murder by Death. And
Oh,
that's got Peter Sellers in it. And it's basically, the whole premise of that is that Truman Capote plays this kind of eccentric millionaire in this house, and he invites the world's greatest detectives to solve a murder that hasn't happened yet. And it's a total comedy. It was made in the 70s, but the premise of it I love, because I think, Andrew, you and I may have talked about Agatha Christie before. The thing that drives me the most crazy about her books is that no reasonable person is given any amount of information to reasonably guess who done it ever. You could literally be Columbo and you'll still have no idea, who done it until the very end, when she releases information literally in the last chapter of the book that if you don't know it, you can't guess. So those, Heidi, are some of my. How about you guys? What are some of your favorite movies?
Empire Strikes Back, Princess Bride. I'm very basic when it comes to that kind of stuff, but yeah. I love Indiana Jones, but The Big Bang Theory ruined Indiana Jones for me.
How did that happen? What do you?
Oh, I know what your episode you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
I'm sure I watched it.
With Tomb Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you remove Indiana Jones from it, nothing changes. He has no impact on the story whatsoever. Because basically, they get the Ark, they open it on the island, and they die anyway.
Yeah, it's a little. Oh, look at this. Just watched Princess Bride for the first time. So good.
That's living life incorrectly, Kyle.
Yeah, you
should have been watching it the entire time.
Kyle's been doing some awesome lives lately. So if you have not tuned into Kyle lately, he's been doing some fun lives. So I know I hang out. Sometimes I'm working.
So,
what's that?
I said I have to drop. Happy birthday,
awesome.
Brian.
We're gonna be able to talk about you in your absence. I appreciate you very much. Andrew, thank you for stopping by, my man. It's awesome talking to you. I will message you later, and thank you so much for joining me.
I'm planning on having you on my channel later anyway, and Chris later this month.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Bye, Andrew. Love you.
We happen to get along, so it works.
Take care, man.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye, Andrew.
And then there were four. This is the murder mystery. Oh my God, Andrew's just been whacked.
I will go with you on Defending Your Life, one of my favorite comedies.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys seen it, Chris and Philip?
No.
Which one?
Philip's not a big movie guy.
Oh, you got to watch that. You got to watch it.
So it's Christopher. It's called Defending Your Life, starring Albert Brooks. He wrote it, directed it, did it, and stars in it. And the whole premise is that he dies literally in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and the afterlife is basically court, where you have to defend your life to determine whether or not you're going to move on through the rest of the universe, or you're going to be returned to Earth again, reincarnated to try it all over again. And, all the personalities that he meets in this kind of purgatory, it's hilarious. They show flashbacks of his life, because apparently every moment of your entire life has been recorded. And they show the most embarrassing and the most, sweet and fun moments. But it's a great movie, and it's one that makes you laugh and makes you think. Yeah. So, yeah, big Albert Brooks fan.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm on trial for my life? Well, first of all, we don't like to think of it as a trial. And second of all, yes.
Yeah, exactly. That is a direct quote. And if you're a fan of the actor Rip Torn at all, he plays Albert Brooks's attorney, his defense attorney, and he's quite hilarious. So yeah, that's hopefully, Heidi, that answers the question. Wait a minute. Grifkin is saying it was John in the library with a copy of Shogun.
Hey, that book could do some damage.
It could. It absolutely could. Oh my gosh. And
favorite Western, Brian. What about your favorite Western?
Book or movie?
Movie.
Okay, so I'm going to go slightly off the board and go with... No, see, a lot of people are going to go with... God, what was Mike talking about the other day?
There's one right answer. There's only one right answer.
It's not going to be the answer you want.
Probably
I apologize. But I am going off the board, and I'm going with High Plains Drifter.
That's pretty good.
With Clint Eastwood. And it is, It's everything that you imagine of, the stranger comes to town and there's bad guys and this mysterious stranger comes ready to punish the guilty, but he's not a very nice guy himself. And if other people happen to get in the way, you better get out of his way. And he doesn't even have a name in the movie. He's just the stranger. So, yeah. So what was the correct answer, John?
Now, what about Philip and Chris? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone gets the correct answer.
Philip's not a big movie guy,
there's
so
only
I don't
one.
know that you're good.
I've watched a couple. Magnificent Seven. I don't know.
Well, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, too.
Honestly, that's the only one I watched.
No, see, the correct answer is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, actually, I've seen that. Yeah. Okay.
I did not see that.
Okay, so Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is like 18 million light years away from High Plains Drifter.
It's the best Western I've ever seen.
By all measurements, it's so different. What is this? I did enjoy Defending Your Life, but especially lock himself inside the car. He's trying to lock the car. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, for anybody who has not seen, and I saw my sister made a comment here, Defending Your Life is Fall Off the Couch. Hilarious. Absolutely. There's a scene in a sushi bar that is fantastic. I actually threw a clip in of it in one of my older videos. That's an interesting thing. Let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think when people pop in clips into their videos? Because from what I can tell, none of you do it. And I've been doing it less lately. Like movie clips. Like, do you enjoy that when people do that when you're watching tubers, or is it kind of a take it or leave it?
I don't mind it at all. I always
Okay.
assume that it's actually a kind of smart thing to do because of our very atrophied attention spans. That you have a little something else to look at for a moment, and then you're like, oh, and then, I don't know. It's fun. Sometimes you work in a joke that way. That's what you do usually, Brian.
Yeah.
When you have a clip, it's usually it's a part of a joke you're making, which actually makes me smile. So
Yeah.
Excellent.
yeah. I'm just actually too tech incompetent to figure out how to do it. That's all.
Well, anytime if you ever decide that you want to do it, you just message me. I'll tell you exactly what to do. It's
Okay.
way easier than you think. So if you can make great content the way you can, that part is by far easier than what you're doing already. So
Okay.
it's simple, and it's once you learn it once, it's a piece of cake. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I used to do it early on, and then I stopped because it was just making Jacob work harder.
I thought that, see, and again, that's why when he comes north, I can take some of that burden off of Jacob.
Yeah.
You guys are going to tune in to Talking Story once, and there's going to be like no lights, and it's going to be like John with like a
just my
flashlight.
voice. Like,
It'll be
I'm
like
doing-
John with a flashlight underneath them.
John, what happened to the quality of your video?
I'm experimenting.
On
I'm
yourself,
experimenting
bro.
with radio. It's a great
Exactly.
new concept.
All of a sudden, you're going to hear this energetic young man off to the side of me, having some amazing banter back and forth. Meanwhile, you flip on Talking
You're gonna
Stories.
post Jacob?
Oh, absolutely.
AM radio.
Plans are in place. I can say no more, but plans are in place. But that would be excellent. No, but anyway, I forgot where we were. Okay, wait a minute. We've got Best Western John is the Bud Spencer and Terrace Hill Spaghetti Westerns. I've not seen those. One of the things that I found out from watching like an interview with Clint Eastwood is that, that kind of like symbolic just solo guitar that is, prevalent in a lot of those Western movies where it's just this kind of only a guitar. The reason for that is because they couldn't afford an orchestra. They didn't have the money like the Magnificent Seven budgets. And so they were like, okay, let's just get a really good guitar player and create this kind of slidey vibe on a guitar. And yeah, the more you know, folks. You've learned it. You've learned it right here on BellTube. So you never know what you're going to get. Mostly nonsense. Sometimes we have guests that are spectacularly well informed, like these three, and then you get me.
No.
So yeah. I don't know. I don't know. What else on your minds tonight, guys? I normally print a whole list of questions, but I figured tonight would be more of just kind of a chill, talk about whatever we feel like talking about. And again, by the way, guys, there's no obligation. If you have stuff to do tonight, by all means. I definitely don't want to hold anybody hostage tonight. So, but I am holding him hostage. Oh my God, this is crazy. I wish I do have my phone. There is a giant bug crawling on my camera right now. And if this thing comes into the camera section, this is going to be the weirdest thing ever. Oh, come on, go up a little bit. This is like John's horror books coming to life. Absolutely. Oh my God. It's almost like oh God, but I don't want it to ruin the camera. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Nope.
Oh my God. It's like, it's going just around the glass. I got to flip this thing off. This is a little bit of an expensive camera.
Oh, well, don't do that.
It's fine. One of the things that did I knock my camera or did I just?
No, you're good. What was it, like a praying mantis or something?
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but it was like this kind of about this big, and it wasn't like a cockroach, but it was just this weird kind of Minnesota bug. I have no idea, but right now it's off in the piano room somewhere. If you start to hear piano music and I'm still sitting here, it means I have a very talented insect in the house that I've just pushed into a new career. He was going to be a cinematographer. He's now going to be a jazz pianist. So he's ready to rock and roll. I don't know what's going. Did I move the camera? I don't know. Look fine.
Man. You thumped it. You said this is an expensive camera, and then you thumped it.
Yeah.
But is it all right? I can't tell. I think
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You look good.
all right.
You're in focus.
Yeah.
That could be good.
I like the lighting you got going on now, Brian. I do. I mean,
Oh, yeah, it looks
you
great.
were you were right at the beginning, but now you're like A+. I mean, the lighting is perfect. You pop out. You make you're very three-dimensional now, which is awesome. So,
Thank you. All credit to Matt from Matt on Books. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. And Kyle, I'm actually off screen at Apprentice Shotgun pointing me. We have a guest. I don't know how long he's been sitting here.
What?
What?
How did you pull that off?
He's literally
Two
quadruple
other
booked.
streams right now.
where's your?
I'm doing a Philip. I'm going to try to do
I was
both
going
at
to
the
say
same time,
clone
at the same
machine,
time.
man.
We delayed till 7:30 because I thought the orchestra concert would go a little longer. So now everybody's waiting till 7:30 and I'm ready. So I said, hey, cool. Let's be a nice tune-up. Go over here and talk to these fine gentlemen and Christopher. I'm kidding, Christopher. It's good to see you, bro.
And that guy.
Well, you missed Andrew, so I mean you're already 2 points ahead.
Does
You're
anyone
already
really
2 points ahead.
miss Andrew? I mean,
I don't know. John. Okay, here we go. John. I don't know, John. I don't know.
haters gonna hate, you know.
That's correct. Mike, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like I was mentioning earlier, I've learned a ton from all of you guys, Mike, in particular. And I've said it before, I will say this until I make my very last video, whenever that comes. Mike is 100% the reason why this channel exists. Period.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Mike seriously owes all of you guys a lifetime worth of apologies for having me, my face show up on your feed from time to time. But no, thank you for, taking a minute to come on and say howdy, because BookTube isn't BookTube without Mike. And
That's true.
Y'all
Here we
talking
go.
about little Mike? You guys are far too good. And no, I was not
this
dodging
Mike.
that.
I thought I was talking about a different Mike. You're totally right. You're totally right. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, Mike was on the Two to Ramble podcast that just premiered. Was it today or yesterday? I think it was
fun.
yesterday.
We did that like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Can you guys post that? Because that was fun, man. I had a blast."
Oh, it was a good time. That
I
was a
wanted
good
to talk
time.
longer, but I had other things I had to get done. But man, yeah, I could talk to those guys for a while.
I was actually texting them today. We're trying to get Dragon Steel tickets at the same time. It's like, are you getting through? This is broken. This is so broken. Are you getting your tickets? Yeah.
Well, must be nice to be part of the Dragon Steel Elite. You know, I don't.
Oh, it was harrowing. It was harrowing to get tickets.
I don't have the energy for that. So I was like,
I told them I don't
Yeah.
have the energy to go stand in line and stuff like that anymore. So I was like, if they want to credential me, sure, I'll show up. But otherwise, nah.
You could join the
Yeah.
panel that Brian's going to be on.
Yeah, Brian's going to be on a panel.
I would love to be a panelist, but you know.
I applied, Mike. So you weren't here earlier. I was like, okay, I can't get a ticket, so I'll apply to be on a panel. And if they
I
have
mean, the
a
only proof I have that Sanderson / Dragon still even knows who I am is they did send me that Trust the Emerald Sea box. But other
Yep.
than that, I can't even get like a Stormlight arc. So, so I have no idea they even know who I am. So there we go.
yeah,
Don't you know who I am? Not trying to mean like that.
Come on.
I'm just saying that, like, if I apply,
Oh.
they'd be like, "Who the hell is this guy?" I don't mean that they should know who I am.
So here's what I would love to have happen. Mike shows up at Dragonsteel. John and Jacob are already there. Jacob's got his camera. Mike is making a giant scene at the front door, screaming, "Don't you know who I am?" And then Philip reacts to it.
Yeah.
And then English professor reacts to booktuber.
Oh wait, this is the
Making
English
a scene.
The English professor reacts to Stormlight Archive. Come on in.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
That's how it
We
works.
we have a spot on the panel for you.
Absolutely. There's literally no chance I end up on any panel, but I was like, you know what? You don't know unless you just
Yep.
throw it out there. So, I do these one for the roads, and I'm telling
So,
people,
Philip, not to
Brian,
to-
somebody
not
I
to-
guarantee you knows you from that group. You never know.
you never know.
Philip, not to
Get
jump
Get
our
prepared.
plan,
Get prepared for
but-
that panel, man.
You had better name our collaboration next week. An English professor talks to Mike from Mike's book reviews. So
Okay.
I'll feel
That's good.
In all fairness,
Maybe I'll teach him something. Yeah.
in all fairness, I tease Philip about it, but it's brilliant. I mean, he is an English professor,
No,
and you know what?
Funny thing, I think I've mentioned this before, but I actually titled that first video, my first One Piece solo video, I titled it "My Thoughts on the East Blue Saga of One Piece." And then within the first hour, one of the viewers left a comment and said, "You should retitle this English professor's thoughts, blah, blah, blah." And I said, okay. And then suddenly the views went, meow.
Yeah. Now he gets to take an extra vacation this summer with the proceeds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, like I said, I tease about it, but it's absolutely brilliant. And the truth is that it does get more eyes on your channel, and it's going to expose a ton of One Piece people to your content that they may otherwise not have seen. And there's huge value there. I mean, your channel rocks. So
Oh, and it's been so
Absolutely.
much fun too. They've been an extremely generous and very wonderful fan base that has just come along to be so many encouraging, really just wonderful comments, and I'm just genuinely blown away by how nice these people are and how happy they are that someone is reading their favorite story. It's really wonderful to
Yeah,
interact.
they sent me 100 volumes of manga. They're very generous. So.
There you go.
Never
Wow.
seen anything
Yeah.
else
So-
about them.
So, Mike, I showed this earlier when you weren't on, but in case of emergency, like break glass, my channel is dropping and it's just, everything's going to shit. This is my break glass, which I just bought today. Emergency break glass. I've got it ready to rock and roll.
I mean, I
So-
thought it doesn't do anything for me, so it's weird. I think the thing was like I got a bunch of manga fans when I was doing Berserk, and they were just upset that I didn't want to just do nothing but manga, so they all kind of bailed.
Oh my gosh. By the way, John, so my mom and dad are watching this. They live in California, so I want to say hi to them. My mom just texted me saying that she agrees with you. When you asked about the Western, my mom's first answer was Butch Cassidy, the Sundance
That's
Kid.
the right answer. That's the
Yeah.
right answer.
What's the
And
question?
Best Western.
what best Western movie? Yeah, Mike would have an answer in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Tombstone or Lonesome Dove?
Oh, those are
Maybe,
strong.
maybe Young Guns is a dark
Tombstone. I
horse.
forgot about Tombstone.
Young Guns.
I forgot about
I-
Tombstone. I watched
Young
that.
Guns is a blast, John. Take
Yeah.
off.
Oh, I've seen it many times.
I'll
my
make you
friend.
famous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. My answer was High Plains Drifter, just because I love the mystery involved with the stranger comes to town, and yeah, just the badass Clint Eastwood.
Or
Tombstone.
anything with Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood's usually pretty much it's pretty.
Tombstone's
Yeah.
a great. Tombstone's a great answer. I'll be a Huckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did that movie even come out? Was that in the 80s or 90s?
1993.
Yeah,
Got it.
early '90s.
Oh my God. See. Now John never has any hot takes or opinions, so this is interesting.
Never.
Hey, Mike, I wrapped up the fall today in one sitting.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
93. Man, I graduated high school in 93.
I graduated in 97. So
we all went to see Tombstone, like seniors. We went to see.
I mean,
Tombstone.
I'm a ride or die with Kurt Russell. He could do no wrong. So I went and saw it, and I wasn't expecting much. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. Good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that in the theaters. You had to. I mean, there wasn't really, there's certainly no streaming. And I absolutely, God, it's so crazy that, all of us are of an age that you wanted to see a movie. You went to the movie theater. I mean,
I'm laughing at Kyle's down here, just making fun of everybody's age. These young whippersnappers.
I'm not
Right?
even. What year did you graduate, Mike?
97.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was actually like I was gonna say maybe like 3 more years later than that. Honestly,
he's a fine young looking
I
gentleman.
thought you just turned 40. Honestly, Mike, I didn't know.
You're sweet. 'Cause the
My-
thing is, like,
my-
you
my
go back
first
and watch some
child was
early
born in
videos.
97, so.
I was talking about because I just crossed 5 years, and I was like going back and watching some of those early videos. Is like, well, the quality is worse, but man, I look a lot younger. So yeah, 5 years to make a
YouTube has
difference.
aged you.
This YouTube thing will age you a little bit.
Yeah.
I have learned that the algorithm absolutely will suck your soul if you allow it to. So best to avoid that when possible.
What year did you graduate, Brian?
What is today? So 29 years ago, like 1999. Wait, 2001.
Oh, come on. What?
2001. It was really cool. We were, my sophomore year of high school. We were all getting ready for Y2K. It was crazy. We were throwing these house parties. I was 17 years old. It was
That's
great.
how I remember it. That's how I remember it too.
Class of 90 right here.
With
Class of
90?
90?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am class of 1988. So thankfully I've put on a few pounds, so my face looks a little bit fatter, so I look a little bit younger, I hope.
Brian, do you have a yearbook with you that you could put on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get it?
No, I think this should be your next video because we need like slow fade in where it fades in like over your face and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Done. Deal. Done.
Okay.
Not only that, I will share with you something that I sent to Tori because when I was in college, and this is crazy, but I was for sure going to be a musician. That was my plan. I was going to try to be an actor because I was in high school plays. And John, you'll probably appreciate this. And this is really one of the reasons why I do these One for the Roads is because my freshman year at University of Wisconsin-Madison, I immediately went into acting class. It was like the first one of the things that I wanted to do. And the teacher, and I don't even remember if it was a professor or just a TA, because it was really, freshman year course, told me essentially that I sucked. And I was derivative of everything in Hollywood, and I was bad. And young Brian at 18 years old believed that and decided not to do it and went to business school instead.
Yeah.
And
young Brian was smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's days. I agree, but
business major over here. You were smart.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so maybe she was premonitioned. But where was I going with this?
If it was an acting teacher, it could have been someone that walked in off the street. Quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. They told me I was bad, but so I sent Tori. I had like the 90s. It's actually late 80s headshot of me sitting in front of a piano with the full-on mullet, from the 80s. I will absolutely include that in an upcoming video for everybody's amusement. It is great.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm holding you to this.
I never had a mullet, but I had a rat tail. Remember those?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I had a rat tail. I had a side spike, and then in high school I had the butt cut.
Not in high school, but in college, I had long hair like down to here, and my hair's curly, so it was like all curly.
But the only reason I didn't have a mullet is because my parents wouldn't let me grow my hair long when I was younger. So that's probably the only reason I got away with that one.
When I came back, I think it was like my sophomore year, or my junior year of college. I came back home, and I was staying with my parents for the summer, and I was worried because I had 2 earrings. I had like 2 hoop earrings in my left ear.
The left ear, yep.
Yeah, and that's what you did in the 80s and the 90s. You got your ear pierced, and I was like freaking out that my dad was going to go bonkers on me. That not only do I have 1 earring, I've got 2 earrings, and my dad surprises me from time to time, and this was certainly one of them. He says to me, big deal, Rod Stewart's got tons of earrings," and just was like left it alone. And I was like, rock on, Dad.
That was almost my dad's reaction. And he's he's a conservative Catholic guy, but he was like, that's pretty awesome, And I had the same thing, 2 left piercings in the left ear.
No piercings, no tattoos. I never touched drugs. Did I do it wrong, guys?
Yes, definitely. You totally did it wrong.
I got too much Irish in my blood. Mine was about drinking Guinness at 13 years old. That's more what I was doing. Forget the drug stuff. I just want to be a full-blown alcoholic. That was me.
Mike, would you ever get a tattoo? I know John's got them, and I think Christopher has tattoos.
Before I go, I don't have a tattoo. I was a huge Dark Tower fan while it was still being written, and I was so obsessed with Dark Tower. I had planned to get the Ka symbol that's on my door back there. I planned to get that on my arm in between book 5 and 6. And then I read book 6, and I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't do that shit.
Oh. You know what? When we go to Salt Lake City, before we all go up on that panel, we're going to get that tattoo on Mike.
I love it.
Quilluminati tattoo.
Whereas
we have to do a Quilluminati tattoo.
I read book 6, Mike,
and I got
that tattoo.
No, stop it.
It's on his left butt cheek.
Yeah, Phillips has got a whole back piece of just
reminiscent
Susanna.
of what that book is, a big old butt.
It's the tramp stamp tattoo.
Oh my God, that would, but Mike, I'm right with you there. I was absolutely going to get either a Ka as a wheel or Stand and Be True, or actually the image of Roland approaching the Dark Tower with the rose field in front of him. I was all about to do that, and I don't know why I didn't, but
people ask me, what would you have done if you had got that? I said, I probably would have forgot the name of his father, over it, like in an X.
Yeah.
Oh.
But hey, time is a healer, right? I'm rereading Song of Susanna this year, so we're going to find out.
Oh, you may love it. You might love it.
I mean, I'm doubting it, but I can't hate it anymore, I don't think.
Hey, before you go, Mike, we got to convince these 2 to go with some horror on the Quilluminati playlist.
I mean, I'm down with it. I mean, I thought that, Philip, I thought a great place would be Pet Cemetery, but
yes, I'd be all for a reread.
But then he said he'd read 11/22/63. I'm like, well, damn, that's a damn good book.
That's a damn good book. I'd do a reread of that too.
Is that horror though?
No. It's a damn romance, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got time travel and shit like that in it, but weird Stephen King stuff. It's still romance.
I mean, I say we do the Vanished Birds and make sure we don't hate each other by the time that we have that, discussion, and then we'll figure out what the next book is. Because you never know.
At least twice a day, I get people being like, "Oh man, you're not going to like that book."
Dude, I'm really worried. I am really worried that you're going to come after me, Mike, for bringing up this title.
But like I've said, if the book is amazing, it was a group decision on what we're going to read. If the book is god awful, it was all John's idea. Yeah. So,
and then we got to read Sarah J. Maas. We got to read ACOTAR next. There's my.
Oh my God,
that would be hilarious.
Thank you both. Oh my God, yeah,
that would be hilarious.
I have read book 1. I will fess up to that, but it was my niece's request that I do kind of a buddy read with her, and wanted to do that. And yeah, I learned that the book is just generally not written for me, but not awful or terrible. It's just, it's not written for me.
All right, well, Brian, congratulations, gentlemen. Have a
Mike,
great night.
Thanks, brother. We'll see you on many, many other streams tonight.
So at least 3.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I don't remember where we were when BookTube Kingpin, jumped on in.
Jumped on.
Yeah, that was
graduation years and earrings and
Yeah, I don't know.
mullets and
John,
parachute
did you
pants.
did you rock the long hair? We were all talking. I was talking over everybody, but did you rock the long hair when you were a kid?
Okay, I had. It was like it would flip out a little bit. I had it about to there. It would flip out.
Interesting. Did you ever put it in the ponytail?
No, I never had enough to do a ponytail.
I rocked the ponytail.
Did you really?
I did.
Nice.
I did. I was living in England at the time, and I was like, oh, you know what? Why not? Just do it. But anyway, that is pretty dang funny. What is this comment? Akatar, when did you start? My niece asked me to read it. Grifkin, Brian reads 50 Shades. Down for that live stream.
I would laugh if you guys started like all of your books you picked were like these romance books and like.
How funny would that be?
You never know.
Oh my God. Some okie dude. Britain, where haven't you been, Brian? I don't know. I mean, Alan is coming on For Whom the Bell Tolls in 2 weeks. And he was on Chatting with Nuts on Friday. And I made a comment that he was, he hurt his meniscus or tore his meniscus, I think. Something
Alan
like that.
Jimmy.
Jimmy did, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I made this comment that thing similar happened to me, that I tore my meniscus falling off a stage in Bangkok.
Uh-huh.
And Alan's like, Brian, I swear to God, you're not a real person. These things these stories that you have, he's like, I don't think you're making it up. I totally believe you. But who does this happen to? And I don't know.
Well, more importantly, how did you fall off the stage?
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. How'd you fall off the stage?
I fell off the stage because it was a good friend of mine's wedding in Thailand. And it was an Indian wedding in Thailand. His wife's family was from there. So it was all, done she's from Pattaya Beach. And then they did the whole ceremony and the reception and everything in Bangkok. And so as part of the celebration, it's traditional in their custom that everybody kind of dance and do all of these, things together after the bride and groom, do their thing. And so we're all up on stage dancing, and I'm sort of kind of at the back of the stage that's by the wall. And there's all these people that are kind of moving, they're jumping around, and it's a whole raucous celebration. And the stage basically shifts forward because it's not really secured to anything. And the next thing I know, it's me, and I'm on solid footing, and then there's no more solid footing. It's just gone. So I drop, and I'm like, I'm dropping, and John, like all of my friends that were there did the exact same thing you just did, cracked up. Like everybody is like dying, laughing, watching me like, being helped off, back up onto the stage and then down the stairs to try to get back out. Now, it turns out I tore my meniscus. The hotel charged me for ice. I was like, I need some ice on this. And they were like, it'll be X amount of baht, which is their currency, to send some ice up to your room. And I'm thinking, this happened in your facility. But, it's Thailand. Not a whole lot you can do, And
welcome to Thailand.
I will tell you that you don't really want to find yourself figuring out, do I really want to go to the hospital in Bangkok on a Saturday night, or do I want to try to rest this off and see what happens? And it's really lucky that my friend's wife's brother had gone to medical school. And so he came up to my hotel room and he was just like, yeah, this is not great, but I still had like another full week in Thailand. I was limping around. And by the time I got home and they did the whole x-rays and all of that, then I was in the brace for about 3 months. Ooh. Where that just had the, sorry, my phone, my mother's like, that Bangkok story is true. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I know. That's why. I'm like, I'm not lying to the community.
I know. That's why I'm telling you.
Yeah. So anyway, I got the brace on for a few months and whatever. But yeah, that is that is what happened to me. And the weird part is that I was so into going to the different, I don't know that they weren't really monasteries, but there were different shrines in Thailand, and you could meet the different monks that were there. And I learned a lot about the Buddhist tradition while I was there, just speaking to these monks. And I was literally hobbling to get to these shrines because I wanted to go so bad, and I didn't know when is the next time I'm going to be in Bangkok, right? So, heck or high water, I was getting to where I wanted to go. But yeah, it's really, really, really cool.
Wow. Well,
So
Brian, I
that's cool.
gotta run pretty soon here, but I really
Philip,
thank you for
thank you.
inviting me, and I'm just so glad that you're around here. I really enjoy everything you do here on BellTube, and I think you've established a really great community here. You're just a wonderful person, and I'm really, really honored to call you a friend. So thank you so much.
You are the sweetest guy I know. So thank you, Philip. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the friendship. I totally appreciate you being here. Like I told everybody, if you can pop in for literally 2 to 5 minutes, that's terrific. So for you to have been here this long, man, thank you. It means the world to me. And I look forward to more friendship and more good stuff, for everybody on BookTube. So thank you for being here.
My
Lots to
pleasure.
come.
Good night, John.
Absolutely.
Good night, Christopher.
Thanks,
Good night,
Phil.
Chad.
Hi, Dr. Chase.
Good night.
Very good.
He's one of those special guys, man.
Right?
Yep.
I mean,
Definitely one of the first for me. I mean, I think
he's up there, man. He's
Yeah.
at the top.
yeah.
I think that in some regard, Philip is he's so humble that I don't think he actually realizes how good at this he is.
Well, and
I don't.
you know what I'm blown away by? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's one of the best of us that do this, right? Like, we're all newbies basically. We're still just figuring out how to tie our shoes. So we look to people like Mike and Philip. But it's like on top of that, like that guy wrote a pretty freaking amazing trilogy. Like I haven't read book 3 yet.
Yeah.
I only read book 1, but I was just like, I could tell the passion he has for the genre and just literature in general. And, for somebody who studied, especially Anglo-Saxon poetry and all that, I was like, I knew this guy was just going to have a love for literature. And I was amazed. And I'm actually going to do a reread of the first book because I want to continue on with the series. And it was last year when I read The Way of Adam, and I want to continue. And just on a YouTube level, it's amazing how he taught me how to look at books. And when I read books, I read for enjoyment, but he taught me how to look at different views of what the book is representing. And
sure.
Blown
he's
away.
The king. He's man, he's so good. I mean, do you think has your Brian, like you said, you're about 1,000 books under your belt, right, my man? Do you think your reading has changed since you started the channel? Is it different now when you crack open a book?
Yeah, it is. A lot of the times, and I've started to think about doing a vlog on some of the books that I read, just because some of them are complicated and it's challenging to remember everything that I want to talk about in the books. Yeah. And I'm thinking about doing it for Dead House Gates when I get back to Malazan, when I finish up with Song Eater. That might be something that I try to do. But yeah, it has changed a little bit because, for one, I am definitely reading different books because the community has recommended stuff that was off my radar.
Without a doubt, that's true.
That I would have never read in the first place. But I'm also trying to, when I read books, figure out, is this sort of in line with how the channel, theme wise goes? And I don't know, but it's a kind of a long and uninformative answer, but yeah, it has changed since I've started the channel, because without the channel, I just read it, move on to the next book, read it, move on to the next book. I might have some thoughts about it, but very little. I mean, it's just moving on to the next thing instead of digesting what I wrote and trying to figure out a way to communicate what I actually thought of the book. And what blows me away, and I know that both of you guys have talked about this on your channels, is that people actually listen to us, right? I mean,
that's astounding to me.
Isn't it
That's
though?
I know.
astounding to me.
I'm like, I can't believe people listen to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
just dudes, right? We're
Yeah.
just dudes who read books.
It's like Mike says, I'm just a guy with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's absolutely nuts to me that anybody listens to my opinion on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because with Philip, I get it. The guy is an
Well,
English
sure.
professor.
I listen to Philip.
Right. I mean, AP Kahneman, same deal. Jared Henderson,
Absolutely.
same deal.
Those guys
These
got
are-
the PhD after their name. Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna listen.
These are
I mean,
scholars.
I gotta say, I mean, it's like I'm trying to really, and John, you're gonna be part of this. It's like I'm gonna be like reviewing a book with Philip Chase. It's like I can't say book good, It's like
Right?
Me like Cahill. Me like Cahill.
yeah,
You like
me
Kyle.
Kyle,
Yeah.
It's like I gotta like look at it. I gotta really think. Why do I like this?
Yeah.
And, or what's clicking with me. Kind of thing.
And you gotta take the notes too, because like I got that old man brain, like you were saying, Brian. Like sometimes character names, like it just immediately like what? Okay, who was? Wait a minute, I can't remember. I mean, I graduated in 1984.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
my brain is that Etch-a-Sketch that's been turned upside down and shaken too many times.
Do you take notes when you're reading?
I do now.
Now
I
you
never
do.
now,
used
too.
to.
I do now too.
Never did I used to do that.
Especially with for me, especially with indie authors, since I joined an indie blog writing review.
Yeah.
I have to, I want to make those reviews sound intellectual, so now it is to the point where I do take notes, especially at least on the indie authors I read. Yeah.
I think I kind of get away with not taking notes because I defer to more scholarly booktubers for the in-depth analysis of the books that I read. And I think I can get away to some degree with Book Good, just because of the nature of my channel is just sort of weird and nonsensical and more. I'm trying to like come up with what this channel actually is. And I think in some degree it's like booktainment, if that's a thing.
Well, and I try to do, that's exactly the thing I do because it's like I'm I don't have letters after my name. Like who am I kidding? You know what I mean? But it's like it does change. Like I have to take notes now. I have to think about stuff. And I tell you, this is why I sent you this book, Brian. This is this is like it's like if Harry Dresden ran with a SEAL Team 6 crew. You're just it's like a Snicker bar read. You can just shut everything down and just have a joyride. And I can't wait for you to read it, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be a new favorite series because it's just candy.
I love it. And, it's funny because I loved your interview with the author.
Yeah.
So, I've been thinking about the book, but as you know, it's like we get thrown so many suggestions every day. It's like one day, okay, yeah, I got to read this book. And then it's like, you said, old man brain, 15 other books have been recommended to us and it falls off, the radar. But no, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think I'm going to do it in June. So that would be.
I can't wait.
Yeah. June's going to be weird because I'm thinking like I'm going to finish up to get current with Sun Eater with Disquiet Gods in June. But I think that one will show up in there too. And of course, Vanished Birds. So
yeah. Vanished Birds. But I mean I think Vanished Birds is kind of like thought provoking. So that'll be like the perfect I'm just going to go on an adventurous romp,
I have a question for the chat. Is my face too huge in screen right now? Because I'm looking at these very cool booktubers that are like so debonair, and they're like laid back and they're chilling, and they like they got my noggin just like right in the middle of the frame.
No, you just have the camera closer. That's all. I'm sure if me and John closed in our camera,
Look,
have our heads up there too.
it's like that Mike. It's that Mike Myers bit. If I move the camera closer, my heat would look huge. It's like got its own weather system. That know, it's the same thing.
I mean, look at my forehead, Brian. It's like a lot of forehead. I'm not gonna have it up close.
Yeah, well, hey, dude, I can sell mine out for billboard space. Which, by the way, Audible. If you want to put Audible right here on my head, I am available. Brian, I keep forgetting to ask if you've read Ben Aronovich. Well, clearly not if I don't know his name. No, you were just close to the camera. Okay, no, Sarah Beth, I have not read it. But if you throw in the comments on this video where I should start, I will throw it on the TBR, because if you put it here in the chat, I probably won't remember it. But throw it in the comments on the video, and then I'll add it to Goodreads.
This is why I love chats like this, because I'm in a smaller square, and you can't see literally the lines of my forehead that I could plant corn in.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Does that make Jacob children of the corn?
Oh, yeah. He's children of the corn in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in the same way. It's like the further I am, the less lines you see in my face.
Oh, exactly.
So everybody,
I'm old school. I'm not above like stretching pantyhose over the lens, to give me a nice,
that film look,
a nice film hazy look. Yeah,
I love it. So next,
Brian, you got a few years, older than me, but you still look smooth face, and I'm like,
yeah. Brian, you're still rocking the dimples.
See, the dimples get me away. Exactly. I learned when I was about 5 that the dimples get you away with all kinds of crap. So the dimples are. The interesting thing is that throughout, really up until I started this channel, I had either a goatee or a full beard forever. Maybe I'll throw some of those photos up when we do a photo montage. But that sucker is as gray as it gets. Yeah. And then I started throwing in the dye to make it,
come
dark.
On.
Yeah, I did. And I was like, no, this is not good, because you got to do it like twice a week, and it's a huge pain in the butt. And then I stopped doing that. And then I look 10 years older than I really am. So literally...
Don't do that. Look how good John and Philip look with beards, and just letting it go natural. That's
Philip looks good. I just shaved mine, and then I just got so lazy I just let it come back. I couldn't. I just can't. It's too much work.
Well, it was funny because, like I said,
I personally like it. I don't know.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know. I think beards add fullness to a face. That's all I can say. Yeah.
I definitely have enough fullness in my face, I think, with the beard right now. But it's like, it was funny because when you came on For Whom the Bell Tolls, I went back and watched some of your very earliest videos where you were clean shaven, and then all of a sudden, like last week or within the last 2 weeks, it's clean shaven John again, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he's taking it back to the beginnings.
It's funny you said that. I was like, why is an early John video popping up on my video? I thought it was an early John video. I was like, why are the early John videos coming up and not the new stuff?
Oh, they all come back around, Chris. It's like, I usually every summer I go clean shaven, just for, just to feel the cool wind on your face. Yeah, no. But I'm just lazy. I'm just a lazy guy.
Well, I mean, look, if you can pull off the beard, go for it. Like, your beard's awesome. And same with you, Christopher. You're not Beard of Darkness, but then again, who is, right? I mean, Beard of Darkness
that's a lot of
Beard
work
of
too.
Darkness.
That takes a lot of work.
I let it grow a little long. I let it grow a little bushy. Mine's more curly, so it's very more bushy than like grows down, kind of thing. So like during COVID, I had some facial hair, and I was like, no.
How long did you let it go for?
I don't know. It was tough to tell. I'll send you a picture, but it was pretty thick.
I mean, how long before? Like, how many weeks did you go, or was it months?
It was months. Yeah, it was months.
It was months. Oh my gosh. Question for the panel. Bo has a question. And I may be, a very featured panelist, and so it's not happening.
Yeah, and you absolutely could be. You absolutely could be.
If they bring me on, oh my God, would that be like such a degrading, like Dragon Steel? They won't be able to give tickets away next year. Bo asks, question for the panel. Out of all of your books in your collection, which is your most prized possession?
You want to start, Brian?
Yeah,
Mr.
Brian, you
Birthday
go.
Boy?
Yeah, I will. It's a recent edition because it was a gift from Alan. Is Shogun?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
The black version of Shogun. Yeah, I have never. Yeah, that's the book.
That one? Okay.
Yep, that's it. Yep, and because I've told this story before, but I'll share it real quick. When the series is about to come out, and Mike put that video out that they're running out of those editions, I ran over to Barnes and Noble and I couldn't find it, and they only had the new FX editions. And I get into this weird spat with the manager at Barnes and Noble, and she basically says, "I don't know what you've been waiting for. That book's been out forever. Too bad. So sad. Goodbye." And it was like this weird thing, and Alan happened to hear that on the channel, and he had a second copy because a viewer had sent him a book, and he's like, "I don't really need two of this edition. Let me send it to you." And in all fairness, I barely knew Alan. I had been on one live stream with him, with Matt from Matt on Books, just randomly, and just kindest dude sent me this incredible book. And gifts are like that. When someone gives you something, it just means it more than when you go out and just buy it for yourself.
Absolutely.
And the fact that, again, he's not somebody that I know that well. And I know we're going to fix that in a couple of weeks when he's on the channel. But yeah, by the way, I think I need to come up with a couple more personas so BellTube characters can be a category on Alan Jeopardy.
Yes,
there you go.
That's it. How about you guys?
I would love to see both of you on Alan Jeopardy. I think it'd be hilarious.
I would lose, so it would be so
I would
sad.
lose so bad. I can't do anything timed, regardless of how good I think I am at something. Anything that's like a time limit, I can't do.
I would get very stressed.
Too much pressure, yeah.
I think I could do it. I excel under those kinds of pressures, so it's just a matter of if I know it or not. And here you go.
There you go.
And that's a fact. Exactly. Oh my God. So God, I love that. I love that stuck with you, John.
Oh, I love it.
That will be coming. That will be coming back in albeit a little bit of a different fashion. But
you're talking about my heyday, man. You're talking about my heyday.
Exactly. What about you, Christopher? What book would you say, for the question that Bo had, is like your prized of the collection?
I have a lot of gorgeous editions of books and all that. But anything that's a gift, honestly, is a prized possession for me, because I think books are just the best gift you can never give to somebody. And but I would have to go with what my sister got me started with fantasy, and it's this. I still have it. It's this, like, it's run down. It's like falling apart, but it's this box set of the Lord of the Rings, and she got me this when I was in my teens. Wow. And this what initially got me. Of course, cliche that Lord of the Rings gets people into fantasy, but it means a lot to me. And I haven't even gotten like updated versions of The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. This is the only versions I have still I have. And to be sappy, I mean, she's my late sister too. She, passed away in her 40s. So, it kicks in a little more for me too. So it's definitely that. But I would say anything that's a gift, like you, Brian, I've gotten gifts from other booktubers, recently, Tori, somebody sent me Jenny Wartz's book, and I don't know who, but
you got to read that.
Great, thank you, but I don't know who it sent me that, and it just means so much to me when books are sent as gifts. I think they're just the best gifts.
Totally agree. And both of you guys have been kind enough to send me books. So, I mean, that's just both of you guys. You win. You win the friendship award.
I won.
The official BellTube friendship
I bought
award.
Brian's friendship.
Yes, we bought Brian's. It was cheap too. It cost $1.
It was so cheap.
If you didn't know it already, I am for sale. So, what about you, John? I know you've got some fabulous ones. It's probably hard to pick.
You know, you guys, since starting this, it's amazing because people will send you something like, this story touched me and I just want to share it with you. And that's big magic for me. You know, that's really special to me. But I just off the top of my head, this past year, I had a friend that passed and unexpectedly, and he was who I ran with in LA, and we would spend every day off together going to 4 or 5 bookstores and 3 or 4 comic shops and grab hot dogs at a gas station and then just keep going. And we kind of discovered a lot of the same authors at the same time. We discovered Dan Simmons, and we were always into him together. And when he passed, his kids were packing up his library, and they asked if I would meet him in New Orleans and spread his ashes because they wanted to bring one of his Dan Simmons books and make sure it was on my shelf. So that's probably one of those special for me.
That's incredible.
Thank you for sharing that with
his
us.
kids, you know, his kids thought of me like that, so that'll always be really special.
Yeah, he'll always be on camera, kind of thing. Yeah,
I have it downstairs on my shelf downstairs, but it's in a special place. He was, I mean, he got me into a lot of writers. My life would not be the same without James. We lived together, we ran together. It was, you know, one of those things.
Yeah, I mean that will be your number one all time. There's it's nothing's going to touch that. That's a very special story. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure, absolutely.
I recently, last week, had something similar happen where a friend of mine forever just unexpectedly passed. 50. How old is he? He's 50. Gosh, 55, 56 maybe.
That's so young,
just
that's
right
so
out of
young.
nowhere. Yeah, natural causes, just nothing weird. But yeah, so those kinds of things, they hit pretty hard, and that's just awesome. Books can mean so many different things on many different levels.
It's just a doorway
Absolutely.
to everything. Story is a doorway to everything. Past, memory, humanity, hopes, dreams, future. It's all right there. And I mean, it's their doorways to everything that's important.
And I think to some degree that, I've mentioned this before, but I think fantasy readers in general are some of the most open-minded people because we've lived the lives of all of these characters and side characters and their circumstances. And we've seen so many perspectives that are outside of our own realities. And it's different than watching a movie. It's different than watching the news because there's nobody telling it to you besides you. So it's a direct connection from the story to you. And there's just so many different levels that books can do that make people, I just think, so much more open-minded and willing to see just every aspect of situations.
I think the most visual aspect of the way I feel like when I'm reading is if you guys ever saw The Never-Ending Story from 1986 or something like that, and the way Bastian is reading that book, he's like so immersed. He's got like the covers over his head. He's like by the lamplight, and he's just immersed in the story. And I think that is just kind of how I, just remember how I got enthusiastic about reading, and it's just such a immersive experience. And you can, it's nice, especially nowadays with what they can do with visual effects on movies, but I don't feel like it's the same as to what you experience in your brain when you're seeing those words and the visions you see. You're making your own movie in your head, and I think it's just an amazing journey.
And it's so individual too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when we see a movie, we all three of us saw Tom Cruise deliver a line in a certain way, but when we read the book, all three of us interpreted it differently.
Yeah.
And so much of it is informed by what we've read before, or our life experiences, or the mood that we happen to be in at the time. So it's just such a unique platform. John, you were saying something. I didn't want to interrupt.
I think you guys are so right on. The difference when I see something in the visual medium like a film, a TV show, I see who was cast. And I get to share their experience, their heightened reality, their drama, the compressed amount of time that heightened reality is in, and I love it, and I get to see it. But I see who is cast. When I read a book, because I'm a human animal and I can't help but being somewhat narcissistic, when I'm in the shoes of that protagonist, that great hero, that person I'm going on this journey with, I picture my own face a little bit. We all kind of do, right? Because we're all the star of our own little psychodrama. So therein lies the rub, my friend. Therein lies the ability for us to truly empathize and sympathize and learn compassion, because we're living the life. We're seeing ourselves live the life of that character as it unspools on those pages. That is the difference, because we're putting ourselves in those shoes in that way. That's why I think reading will never be overcome by, as much as I love the visual medium,
Right.
Yeah.
It's thank you, Kay. Thank you, Kayla. That's another person we need to have on. That's another person that the bell needs to throw.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And Christopher, the bell needs to toll for you too.
Yeah,
by
Christopher.
The way. So yeah, don't think I've forgotten you, my friend. Yeah.
I'm just excited of who you get on there, and I don't even think of myself. But thank you.
Oh, why? You have a very fascinating story that I want to dig into, and I know the viewers want to know some Christopher Novel backstory, and that's really what that whole premise of this show is about.
Just remember to follow up with a One Piece.
Definitely. Oh my God! Yeah.
Just have it on the desk. Just have it on the desk while you're.
It'll literally drop. The One Piece video will literally drop 10 minutes after the Christopher Novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I almost have to do that. No, I would never.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh my God! You guys are awesome. Yeah, I'm just very blessed to have you guys here tonight. We're going to wrap up here in a few, just because I can't take up too much more of these guys' time. I'm very blessed for you guys as friends, for the folks that joined us earlier, for the BellTube community as a whole, for the people that tune into these live streams, for the people that watch my videos. Doing this for me was, in some sense, kind of like my new virtual nightclub, just sort of a way to socialize in a way that I no longer, had the ability to, and I no longer have the desire to go hang out in nightclubs anymore. I've been in, more bars than any 100 people combined, easily. So this part of my life is a totally, to quote one of my favorite channel names, the next chapter. So this really has been the next chapter for me, and to make it 6 months is really cool. To make it 6 months where there's traction and people seem to like what I'm doing, and the fact that I've been able to meet such absolutely wonderful people and have personal relationships with other people that do this, that truly do understand what goes into doing a BookTube channel and the highs and the lows and all of that, because there are. And, it's just, I'm very blessed, and I'm very grateful, and I'm very appreciative that everybody's here, that's joined live or watching on a replay. Yeah, for my birthday, that's great. But really the fact that we're 6 months old and the channel seems to, have found a bit of a following. And I think we're only moving forwards in a really good direction. And one of my most favorite things is that I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I know that I don't know what I don't know. And that kind of goes for everybody. And when I can, ask Mike a question or ask John a question, or Jared Henderson sends me a message with a wonderful suggestion that makes tons of sense. To have those people kind of in your corner when you're doing this, there's nothing like it. So I just would, if anybody's watching this and you're thinking about doing a channel sometime, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Grab your phone, record something. Look at what Brian Lee Durfee. I mean, he does it on his phone. He's the best there is. Just do it,
Brian. It's no surprise to me you're growing a community this fast, man, because you're so good at it. You're so good at this. It's just not fair. For you to come out of the blocks and just be that good right away, it's like it just makes me want to go back to the drawing board, man. Like it's amazing. I gotta tell you, there's a reason why I watch and Chris, I watch her, and you guys know because I comment like immediately, so I'm not just blowing smoke.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you guys have a video come out, I watch your videos immediately because, there's just some people that it's like, oh man, I gotta follow them, I gotta see what they're doing, and both of you are like that. Absolutely. I never, unless it's something I don't want to be spoiled, I never miss a video.
Yeah.
And to say to you both, Brian, and of course, and John, and especially Brian for being just 6 months.
6 months.
You got to remember, it's not luck. It's you guys.
No.
You guys are putting in the work, and it is work, and it's a commitment to our followers and everybody out there. But people want to tune in to see you. They want to see what's next for Brian and John, and it's all about what you provide for the community. And even if it's some book that's being reviewed for the umpteenth time, they don't care. It's about what you think about that book, and and you guys just rocked it, Brian. Wow, 6 months. It's just watching. Like you said, we knew each other from the readathons, and when I found out, wow, Brian's, I always thought Brian needs to do it. And back in the readathon when we were doing those things, I was like, Brian needs to do a BookTube channel, and I don't know if I actually said that to you or not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
But I was just like, Brian needs to do a YouTube channel, and when you kind of hinted that you were, I was like, yes. And I just knew you were going to rock it out.
Love the Brian show. Never missed an episode of the Brian show.
And it's like, it's so fun. You can't even predict what video you're going to put out.
Oh God, no.
You kind of give us a hint. You kind of give us a hint like 2 days before. Like I'll see on like Twitter or something like that, and you give us a hint, but it's just like, what is he going to do this time? It's kind of like, what I have in my head going on. Yeah.
Well, for me, that's what makes it fun. Like, I know I'm not really a giant BookTube reviewer, but I really do think this channel is sort of thematically booktainment, if that's a word. And I know it's something that, I can bring a unique, spin on it. And so it's like I talked about the other day, to lean into your strengths and to figure out what you're good at and lean into that. And that's sort of what I've done here. And, I think one of my strengths is trying to reach out and make friends with people. And that is something that is very evident with the kind of quality people you guys are, and, all of the other guests that we had tonight, and the people who've come on the channel, and just really everybody that I have any type of communication with, either in the chats or in the lives or in the DMs or really wherever. So Anyways, I have droned on enough, but I just wanted to thank everybody who came and joined us live tonight. Thank you for Team Replay. Team Replay, you guys rock. When we do these live videos, it is shocking to me that thousands of people watch these lives afterwards. It's mind-boggling to me. And we're only 6 months in, folks. I think in another 6 months, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. Want to thank you two tremendously. If you guys don't mind just hanging out backstage for 2 seconds so I can just thank you individually.
Yeah.
Everybody, have a blast tonight, whatever you're up to. Thank you for being part of the BellTube community. We'll be back with a video on Friday, and next week, if you happen to be catching this on May 7th, next week on Wednesday, May 15th, he is the Friday Night Delight, and he is coming on For Whom the Bell Tolls. Jimmy Nuts will be joining us. I think it's going to be a pretty awesome episode. I hope you guys all join us, and I will see you then. Thank you for the birthday love, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Have a good night.